Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today I'm going to do a review on For What Remains, Blood on the Rails. This is a game designed by David Thompson and published by Dan Verson Games. For What Remains is a series of games from the ever-growing list of titles from David Thompson. And while it's a recent release, it's also his actual very first design that he did years ago. So it's great to kind of revisit the past and see where he started in his design career, because as we've all seen, he's come out with hit after hit the past couple of years. This is a sci-fi post-apocalyptic themed skirmish war game. If you're looking for a speedy tactical combat with Mad Max style vibe, this is definitely going to be a game for you. The game story is split over 3 different games: Blood on the Rails, Out of the Basement, and Streets of Ruins. These cover 6 different factions and individual campaigns in each of the games. You don't have to have every game in the series to enjoy them, but having all of them will give you every faction and the total overall story arc. The factions in the games each have a distinctive feel and theme, and you won't feel like you're getting reskinned units in each game, which is nice. Echo and Soldiers of Light are the 2 factions that are in the game. Echo is blue and Soldiers of Light are in the yellow. The only negative are the train tiles, which you may notice here are kind of moving around on the board. These are kind of a mixed bag. They're easy to understand because the terrain is real nice on it and color-coded, which we'll get to in a minute, but they're also real thin. As you can see, they're just basically cardstock. So they have a tendency to slide all over the place and feel a little, prone to damage, like they might be prone to damage. The positive thing here is that you get a ton of them in the box and you can fit them all in the box. The negative is, like I said, they slide around. You need to put some plexi on top. I didn't want to put the plexi here because I didn't want to have the glare while we're talking about this game. While it's a negative, it's also kind of a positive when you think about it, because it keeps the cost down and also the storage options are a lot better. If these were nice thick chipboard, they'd be beautiful and they wouldn't slide around a lot, but you need a giant box and it would definitely increase the cost. So that's the only downside I can give you here, but it's really not as much a downside as, when you think of it that way. Now, this is a 2-player game, but it also does include a Solitaire Bot system. However, this is a chit draw activation game, so you can easily play both sides as you can with any chit draw war game. But the solo bot that does come with the game does give you a very stout challenger, that's for sure. It can be pretty brutal at times. So it's not hard to control, and it is one of those things where if you wanted to play both sides, you can, but if you don't feel like it that night, you just want to concentrate on playing one side, definitely can enjoy the Solitaire Bot. Gameplay is really straightforward in this game. You draw a chit to see who activates, and that unit carries out one action: move, shoot, use an ability, or engage in close combat. Here's something that I think is really cool when it comes to the activation part of this game. It's actually a nice little additional strategic layer. I really dig it. There's a bag building to your chit activation. You're going to have 3 activation tokens per unit. You can take as many as you want and put them into the bag in each turn. You have to match the number of units out there. So in a sense, say we're 3-on-3, you can have a maximum of 3 counters out there. So you can activate one unit twice and another unit once, but don't do anything with a 3rd unit, or you can activate each one of them one time. Keep in mind, once you use that token and it's activated off the bag draw, it is now exhausted. So you don't want to end up burning through your unit too fast. It's going to end up sitting out there and twiddling its thumbs, getting hammered, and it's most likely going to be cursing your poor tactical acumen. So keep that in mind when you're building your bag. But I like that layer to the game. You'll pick up the flow of the game pretty quickly, and the only extra items you'll need to reference will be the character's special abilities, which I mentioned a minute ago, and the modifiers that they will provide. After a couple of plays, it generally becomes second nature, so not anything to worry about. Line of sight in this game is pretty straightforward. Everything is color-coded. The terrain features that have impacts on line of sight. You've got blue right here. This is no bonus, but it just indicates water. Orange is difficult terrain, and it gives you +1 modifier to defense against range combat. Yellow is elevated terrain, and that provides a +1 modifier to defense against close combat attacks. And there's also blocking terrain, which I think I've got here on the side. You'll see blocking terrain is this. So you obviously can't go into it and you can't see through it. So if this was sitting here, this would block line of sight that way, that way, that way, that way. You get the picture, right? And like I said before, the combat's fast and easy. You roll a number of dice for the style of attack you're making, and then you try to get the hit number. So in this instance, an 8 would most likely hit just about any unit out there. You're going to just take that unit and flip it once you hit it. It is now, it's a 2-step unit. It is now wounded. If I had rolled, say, 3 dice or two dice here, I rolled 2 hits. Only 1 hit counts. The other one is discarded because you can only hit a unit once per turn, and it makes it where you can't just blow through a unit really fast. The other cool thing is these units are all recruits right now. There's veteran and elite. And the thing I really like is, like, for example, this Pyro. Let's put Pyro here. They're a recruit unit. Well, let's say I made them a veteran unit. When I make them a veteran unit, I stack a second counter on it. Now it is now not a 2-step unit. It is a 4-step unit. If we go to elite, it is now a 6-step unit. The For What Remains series really gives us an enjoyable tactical combat game with a total sci-fi vibe. I really dig this game. The turns are lightning fast, and you've got some really interesting units in play. I love chit pull in war games, and having it in this game coupled with the decision on how to build your bag, I think is really, it's an interesting little strategic layer that adds a little more traction to the game for me, aside from the brawling. I love brawling, and this is definitely a brawling type game, but we add in that little bag building aspect, and I think it's pretty slick. Overall, it's a damn fun game and easy to jump into. And if you're looking for some fast-paced, streamlined tactical combat set in a sci-fi universe, the For What Remains series is one to check out, and you can look at all 3 of the games in the series and pick one that has the 2 factions that you feel most attracted to. This is Blood on the Rails here that DVG sent for this review, and I've really enjoyed my time with it, and I think you would too. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. You have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.